Scream Factory's about to release Eyes of a Stranger from 1981. You best believe I'm gonna try to capitalize on that. Welcome to the HellBound Horror Show. Has anyone even seen this film? I know I hadn't, but let's take a look and see who made it. The director Ken Wiedenhorn directed Return of the Living Dead 2, Dark Tower, Shockwaves, and some episodes of Freddy's Nightmares. Okay, not very promising. What about the writer Ron Kurz? What has he done? Well, outside of this, he wrote Friday the 13th Part 2, which is another film from 1981, but nothing else really. Ron Kurz? More like no one Kurz. There's not many big names attached to this, so no wonder why it's forgotten. Wait. Tom Savini did the special makeup effects. Yes! Now we're talking. Tom Savini, the Sultan of Gore himself, worked his magic on 4 films in 1981. The gore in The Burning, The Prowler, and even Nightmare is all top-notch. So what about Eyes of a Stranger? I never hear this film being praised, and I wonder why. Nonetheless, Tom Savini's hands have touched this project, so let's pop the sucker in and review it. We start with some beach photography. Is some lady gonna try to seduce this guy and then kill him like in Dead and Buried? No. But he does come across a dead body. Let me take some pictures of this. This is cool. Later, we get a woman walking home, but she's stalked by some stranger. And all of a sudden, the film goes all Black Christmas on us.
Is someone there?
Is that you, Debbie?
Good thing Debbie here is brushing her teeth, because you never know when cavities will sneak up on you. Let's face it, we're watching a Tom Savini flick, so we're all waiting for that first kill, and you know what? It's pretty awesomely done. Does it make me demented knowing that I was literally cheering when I saw the cleaver pop up? The movie then focuses on our heroine, Jane Harris, who is a news reporter and broadcaster. She lives with her deaf, blind, and mute sister, Tracy. Jane covers the stories of the women in town being raped and then brutally murdered. One night, while parking in her apartment's parking garage, she notices a man pull in and change clothes. He has bloodstains on his shirt. Jane does some sleuthing to try to protect her sister. You see, when Tracy and Jane were very young, Tracy was abducted by a man, and it's implied that she was raped and beaten, and it was all Jane's fault for leaving her alone. Apparently, Tracy didn't suffer any brain damage, but for some reason, she could no longer see, hear, or talk. Jane has vowed to protect her sister at all costs. It's a touching story, and the actress does a great job playing a handicapped but still somehow very able-bodied person given her condition. But why the heck is she wearing a watch? I guess wardrobe didn't get the memo, huh? As Jane uncovers the mystery, the killer slowly gets closer and closer to her and Tracy. There are some legitimately tense and scary situations. I was expecting a pretty bad film based on the fact that I rarely hear this film mentioned. But by gosh diggity, this is a bona fide thriller, and I swear, it got my heart racing multiple times, and that's really hard for a horror movie to do anymore. Maybe I was so affected because the situation was different than most horror films. In most slasher movies, you have static characters hiding from a no-faced killer. In this film, you know who the bad guy is, and you know how bad he is. Our heroes are able-bodied and extremely likable. You not only root for them, but you care for them. They are grounded, but vulnerable. Towards the end of the film, the killer is in the house with Tracy alone. I was freaking out! She can't see or hear, which would be terrifying. First, an object moves without her moving it. You can see the process in her head as she slowly realizes that someone may be in the apartment with her. It got me on a whole other level, and honestly, it's brilliant in that respect. The characters, in my opinion, are extremely well done. Eyes of a Stranger honestly feels a bit like Maniac meets a made-for-TV thriller movie meets a slasher film. It's like Maniac because there's a heavy focus on the killer, and we see a lot of situations from his point of view. We see how deranged he is, yet we also see how he tries to function in normal society. The melodrama from the characters and how they solve the mystery feels a lot like a made-for-TV thriller movie, and the slasher elements are enhanced by Tom Savini himself. The gore is right on with some of his other slashers of this era. It's not his best work, but it's still really well done. It's a weird mix of elements, but the film pulls it off really well. The music is actually pretty good in this, although there is a melody throughout the film that is eerily similar to the Tales from the Dark Side intro. It's not perfect, but it's pretty close. It's funny because Richard Einhorn, the composer for Eyes of a Stranger, also scored a few episodes from Tales from the Dark Side. He did not, however, score the intro to the show. The irony makes me laugh. Another knock on the film is its focus on rape. I get that rape makes the film so much more powerful, especially how the female heroes are able to overcome the sickness of men. It's nice poetic justice in a sense, but I just don't like films with rape for the sake of entertainment. For the most part, the film is fine with it, but the opening murder is pretty hard to watch. It is effective in making our killer a lot more intimidating and scary. It's a double-edged sword, and for the most part, it helps elevate the film. I just personally didn't really care for it. All in all, this film was way better than I thought it was going to be. It's a very competent film that really excels in some areas. It's not completely polished, but there is enough here to warrant the watch. The film dips its toes in many different atmospheres, and I appreciate that. I could see some people finding it a little boring, but I highly recommend the film regardless. So do yourself a favor and pick it up from Scream Factory. And if you don't want to pay full price, at least pick it up when it's on sale. Trust me, it's worth it. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Stay healthy, stay safe, and take care, everyone.